The Indian Meteorological Department has released a comprehensive multi-hazard alert of heavy to very heavy rainfall, with isolated extremely heavy rainfall likely at isolated places over coastal Karnataka, interior Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. As a strong monsoon hits India and images of cities being inundated are beamed like the ones from Mumbai, the question is, will Indian cities, each with its own reality, ever be ready for a monsoon? Specifically, the case of Bengaluru at the moment. Joining me this evening, two urban experts who have observed Bengaluru very, very closely, Sridhar Pabishetty and Vishwanath Srikantaiya. Vishwanath, you worked on water conservation and river and lake systems in Bengaluru very closely. Coastal cities have their own problem. Coastal cities like Mumbai and Chennai have their own problem. The critical issue for a city like Bengaluru has been channels for the water to flow out when lakes overflow. Is there any hope this year, given that we are expecting a heavy monsoon, that we may be better off than what we have seen ourselves in the past, or do you expect the past to repeat itself over again?
Well, one of the things to remember is in May, we had one of the heaviest rainfalls ever since records started. And the previous record was only in 2023. So welcome to the new normal, where unexpected rains in May, heavy intensity rains will start to occur. And our city is not designed for these rains at all. 180 rainfall event is now the new normal, and our cities are basically designed for 60 What we need to do is to do a quick flood audit to make sure that every area which has localized challenges of waterlogging and flooding is addressed in its own unique way, and drainage systems are put in place to take away.
We seem to have lost the connection with Srikant. We'll get back to him in just a bit. Sridhar, you want to complete the point that Srikant was beginning to make? I heard, I could see you nodding to some of the points that Srikant was making.
Yeah, climate change is a reality, Raghav, and I think we all have to accept and move to the new normal. If such intense rains are going to become a regular feature, we need to now go back to our drawing board and say, how can we get prepared for this? Of course, the best time to prepare would have been a year ago, but nevertheless, how do we start looking at planning for this new normal? One of the things that we have to prioritize is making our cities spawn cities, right? I mean, China is a nation that's accepted this reality and has embarked on creating 30 spawn cities. What are spawn cities? And this is something that we naturally know in Bengaluru. We have always had the Raj Kalways and the lake systems take away the rain, store it, and disseminate to the lower lakes, and ensure that we don't get flooded. So separation of the storm water network, the lake network, and not mixing it with urban built-up areas is essential. Having said this, I was hopeful that the newest innovation in Bengaluru, the K10, K100 drains that have been renovated next to Shantinagar, will show some promise. But unfortunately, in the recent rains, when I visited that area, I saw that the road adjacent to the K100 drain itself did not take away all the water that's on the road, but left the water on the road. So we need to go back and look at every rupee that we are going to spend on water management in the city, and make sure that we put the sponginess as top priority rather than anything else. The other instance that I want to flag off as we speak. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sridhar. Finish your point.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to flag off is also challenges of the lake management that we have been talking for many years now. Okay. Just today, I read a report about Puttenalli Lake in Yelahanka. Puttenalli Lake in JP Nagar, where the 13-acre lake is still fighting to get back 3 acres of encroached land. Why? Because there has been lethargy in the revenue department in giving compensation for people who had built up houses there. So I think, can we afford to give away 3 acres of a lake land, which can really be a sponge, which can really help us get water away from the dwellings. So meticulous
these
project
are
management is what should go on in every aspect of our
absolutely.
life.
These are serious core issues that we've discussed. I mean, obviously, one is of planning. Srikanth, you want to finish the point you were going to make? I was specifically keen to focus on drainage systems on the one side, rivers on the other side, places for lakes to overflow. Even as you say that we are not ready for 180 rain, what can we do perhaps this monsoon to deal with it better than how we have dealt with in the past?
Well, one bright light in this whole affair has been that 63 lakes in Bangalore have filled up and another 40 have reached 75% of their capabilities. So the effort that the BBMP is putting in rejuvenating the lakes has been slightly successful. Now, the BBMP is also working on installing sluice gates in these lakes so that you can operate it and control it so that there's controlled discharge. And as you're rightly pointing out, the interconnectedness of the lakes, the Kodi Kalves or the Raj Kalves as they're called, have to be modernized. Modern stormwater drainage systems have to be put in place so that the whole system acts in tandem as an ecosystem, lakes, channels, and then the drainage systems till the river. All that has to be put in place.
Right. All that needs to be put in place. Sridhar, very quickly, in terms of specific areas that remain to be key concern areas, and I'm going a little hyper-local on this, as far as Bengaluru is concerned.
Veera, in terms of planning, I think a classic example has been the study on the Kerala floods, the devastating floods that we saw many, many years ago. And, there were a bunch of things that my ex-students were able to demonstrate and show how water flow should have been managed. And what Shrikantaya is also saying is also true, that we need to look at a comprehensive system that responds faster. Sluice gates that can empty out in anticipation of rains are all very essential pieces for us to have a coordinated network. Very specifically, as I said, we need to go back. The documentation for the Raj Kalve encroachments, lake encroachments, is probably the best in the country or best in the world as far as Bengaluru is concerned. We just need a meticulous taskmaster who will go back and execute it non-politically, without fear or favor. Just make sure that we become a breathing, livable city. If we don't do this, then we are going to make it problems for somebody else unexpectedly. We can't live with that kind of fear in our minds.
Executing it apolitically is perhaps the biggest challenge. Very quickly, my final yes or no answer. The only thing we can hope for is we don't have 180 rainfall this year and we have 60 rainfall. Srikanth?
I agree, but that's more specifically, meteorological and hydrological models have to talk to each other. Our planning has to be along those lines.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll leave that conversation there. We'll keep a close focus on urban issues as well. That's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV.